evening, ladies and gentlemen. Another day, another show by BW HOTELIER. This is the 15th show of our newest series, the GM show. This is not just our first show for the Northeast, also perhaps the first industry show ever for the Northeast. The Northeast has been on my mind from getting there and doing a show with you all for the longest time. And my friend over here, Arindam, knows about it. I spoke to him many months ago. Dada, I'm going to do this show and I want to do it along with you. He said, Tum karo, mere ko batao, I'll be there. So here we are finally realizing our desire to do this show. Coming week, we begin the journey to closure of the series with our last 5 shows. After that, we head back to the north with 2 back-to-back shows, one for the absolute north and one special for Rajasthan before we head into Goa with 2 shows and then one last down south, and we draw curtains on the series till we come back next year. Do please note, the coming 2 weeks, we will have 2 shows every week on Tuesday and Thursday. Unlike now, these shows have been every Thursday. The next 2 weeks, we will have shows every Tuesday and Thursday, and they will all be specials. So mark your time, mark your date on the calendar and be there. The topic for the show is rather interesting. Northeast, India's next big travel and tourism frontier, getting travelers in there. There is such a great opportunity sitting over there, which we shall soon discuss. Some of you may want to get in touch with our team at BW HOTELIER. Do write to us on our social media. And if you can't for any reason, please email us at bwhotelier@businessworld.in. Let me repeat that again, bwhotelier@businessworld.in. Let me now begin by introducing our friends on the show. We have Nitin Pathak all the way from Guwahati. Nitin is the general manager of the Novotel in Guwahati. Welcome to the show, Nitin. Yeah. We have Sanjeev Kumar. He's the hotel manager for the Courtyard by Marriott in Siliguri. Hi, Sanjeev.
Namaste, hello everyone.
Yeah. We have Shashank Roy, who's the general manager of the Ramada by Wyndham in Gangtok. By the way, they're soon going to bring in a casino. We have Kaushik Pandit. Yeah. We have Kaushik Pandit, who's the general manager of the Lemon Tree in Gangtok. Hi, Kaushik. We have Amit Mishra, who's the general manager of the Fern Denzong Hotel and Spa in Gangtok. Welcome, gentlemen.
Namaste, everyone.
Yeah. Permit me now to introduce my friend for a while, Arindam Kunar, who's going to moderate the show and anchor it along with me. Arindam is responsible for the optimal operational performance and compelling guest experiences, people and process development, and ownership engagement for Fortune Park Hotels. His career spans over 30 years with organizations like Choice Hotels, Hyatt, Taj Hotels, and IHG. Awarded as the General Manager of the year 2014 for Crown Plaza brands across Asia, Middle East, and Africa, Arindam specialized in rooms division, after which he honed his skills in revenue and marketing. He's held multiple leadership roles in the capacity of General Manager and Area General Manager, and also sharpened his asset management skills with brief roles at DLF and MR Entertainment in Dubai. Welcome to the show, Arindam. I shall now hand over the show to Arindam to take ahead. He will begin with a brief introduction of the show and then introduce all the speakers. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Bhuvanesh. First of all, it's a dream come true for both of us. As you rightly said, it's been a while that we have discussed the contours of a program based on Northeast. And I'm very happy to see it getting fructified today. It's actually also very happy to see some very bright young general managers today on the panel. We've had some very illustrious shows in the past, but this one is very unique, not only because we are presenting Northeast, but also I believe the future of hospitality with some really young dynamic GMs from well-represented brands. Let me sort of bring in the participants here. Nitin Pathak from Novotel Guwahati, a passionate entrepreneurial hotelier with a hands-on approach. Nitin has 2 decades of rich experience in luxury, upper upscale business and economy hotel operations, with expertise in operations, strategic planning, and fiscal leadership. He's also been associated with Accor Hotel since 2016 and has worked with prestigious brands such as the Taj Hotels and Citrus. Among his significant contributions are stabilizing and positioning the Novotel brand in Northeast as one of the aspirational brands. And in 2016, he piloted food and beverage brand initiatives for Ibis Network and Ibis Gurgaon in India. So get to have you, Nitin.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kunar. Thank you for your kind words.
Sanjeev is from our hotel in Courtyard by Marriott in Siliguri. With over 17 years, Sanjeev has enhanced his association in the hospitality industry into various F&B and operational roles before establishing his current tenure as the hotel manager with Courtyard by Marriott in Siliguri. Sanjeev has worked with different brands like ITC Hotels. In fact, he was in his last assignment associated with our company, Fortune Hotels, Best Western and Sayaji. He began his career in Sayaji in 2004 and has moved in with enthusiasm, fulfilling his passion for hospitality. So welcome, Sanjeev.
Thank you, sir.
Sashank from Ramada by Wyndham, Gangtok. Sashank holds a diploma from IIH in Calcutta and a BA in International Hospitality from Queen Margaret University, Edinburgh. And before joining Ramada, he was in 2018, he has worked across a range of prominent brands such as the Zone by the Park, Gurugram, Radisson Blu, Kaushambi, Lahari Resort, Hyderabad, HICC Novotel, Hyderabad, Marriott Aberdeen and Holiday Inn Edinburgh. So welcome again. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much, sir.
It's time to welcome Kaushik. Kaushik Pandit is the General Manager for Lemon Tree Gangtok. Kaushik has completed his diploma from IIS Siliguri, West Bengal, and also holds a certification course in hygiene and safety from the Hotel Academy Days in Group Chennai. Previously, he has been the resort manager with Thomas Cook Limited, Gangtok, Mahindra Holidays and Resorts, and is currently serving as the general manager for Lemon Tree Gangtok. So welcome to the team, Kaushik, and for the show today.
Thank you, sir.
And lastly, but not the least, Amit Mishra from the Fern Denzong Hotel and Spa, Gangtok. Amit brings over 16 years of experience in operations encompassing food and beverage operations in the hospitality industry. Previously, he has worked with the Orchid Hotel Pune, Sterling Resort Valley View Kodai, and his last assignment was with the Mahindra Holidays and Resorts at Baiguni in Sikkim. Thank you for joining us today, Amit.
Thank you, sir.
Now, let me just sort of start of where we are and what we do with a few words on the topic. Northeast, the next big frontier to conquer, getting the travelers there. It's not just a getaway from the East. It's a wonderful gift of God to India and Indians. Be it the genial and capable people, their food, and most importantly, the mesmerizing locales and terrain. Be it rain and great weather, grace and hospitality, good food and cuisine, trained and capable manpower, and serious hospitality, travel, and tourism opportunities. With a fast developing infrastructure, be it roads and rail network, or the penetration of the national and regional air networks such as UDAN. And soon when India opens the Look East International Railroad network into the poor southeastern neighbor countries, be it Myanmar, Bangladesh, and Thailand, we shall have both inbound and outbound travel opportunities for leisure as well as for commerce. Then truly would have the sun risen over our northeast and east. Point is, are we ready for the opportunities that should soon stare at us? Are we ready to take advantage and bring riches, and that is long overdue, to this business and to this region? That's what we are going to discuss as we speak today.
Thank you, Arindam. This is a brilliant introduction. I think the best ambassadors for the Northeast are brethren who have moved from there and doing some wonderful jobs all over the country. They are such genial and pleasant resources who we learn from each day. Now it is time for India to discover the Northeast. All right. There's no point going all over the world when you haven't even discovered your own country. There is so much sitting over there, which we shall very rightly discuss. Let me start by bringing in the first question to you, Arindam. How do we, in all seriousness and in a focused manner, take the Northeast hospitality, travel, and tourism message to our fellow Indians? Now there are three parts to my question, right? If you somehow miss them, just ask me. Where and why are we lagging despite having it all over there? Is it a case of typical bureaucratic apathy, or as we call babudam, where there is no continuity of the purpose and job on hand between babus who go and the ones who come? Number three, is there a case for a powerful Northeastern Joint Tourism Board and Authority that has serious clout to push its cause and go for both the domestic and neighboring inbound tourism opportunities?
So, Bhunesh, I think there is no doubt that there is much more headroom in the opportunities that exist in order to grow tourism in this entire belt. Famously called the Seven Sisters, but I think there is huge headroom. Having said that, there is some light at the end of the tunnel. I'm sure a lot of us know that the Ministry of Tourism launched a campaign to promote tourism in the Northeastern region in March 2021. They've also got a lot of investment from schemes such as the Swadesh Darshan and Prasad for site development, which is a very key and important element of developing tourism. The Ministry of Tourism also formed a committee of stakeholders which is active in the Northeast region to focus on promotion of Northeast, essentially to identify destinations, develop itineraries around them, identifying the places where events can be organized to create awareness. The International Tourism Mart is an annual event, barring the couple of years that we have been affected with the COVID, but I think it's a great platform to develop tourism and promote tourism in the Northeast. I think a lot more could be done, but we've made some modest beginnings with Dekho Apna Desh campaign for Northeast. And as you rightly said, UDAN is a very, very key element in the overall strategy for Northeast development. Then there is also a Northeast Council. I think they can play a much, much bigger role if they were to understand and appreciate that how tourism plays a role in grassroots development and sustainability of communities. And I think there is great news with the formation of the Ministry of Development of Northeastern region, which of course is covering many, many aspects of growth and development. But clearly one of the ways forward for this ministry is to develop tourism campaigns, tourism infrastructure, tourism communities, and not only will it add a lot to tourism, but it will actually add livelihood to the local people. So to answer your question, I would think that the biggest impediment for Northeast is infrastructure. Unlike any other place where you could take a flight, and get into your hotel in, let's say, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Here you have destinations where you may take a long time to reach. So the more airports you have, the more people can travel. The more better road transport you have, the more people can travel. And I don't need to tell you, it's all over the place today as to how the Northeast is developing the road infrastructure between the state, the National Highway Authority, and the Border Road Organization. So I think there is some good progress being made over there. And I think, international brands have started to come into this region. Not that the international brands and the famous domestic brands like ITC going there are the only way to improve, but it adds value in terms of a destination when there are more than one or two brands that enter into a destination. The other way forward, I think, is to differentiate, sustainable ecotourism, adventure tourism. You can't be everything for everybody in Northeast because simply it's not for everybody.
True.
I think we also need to understand that the local involvement will benefit sustainable livelihood. And I always talk about Kerala as a model of making sure that everybody in the value chain is making sustainable living, because tourism is so important to their community and to their infrastructure and economy. And unfortunately, the insurgency in the past has hampered this destination. But I think going forward, there is again a ray of light, and I think that should also help recover this region from the challenges that some of these areas have faced due to insurgency. And yes, there is absolutely an important need for coordinated efforts by the state, because people are not going to Mizoram or Assam or Arunachal. They're going to the Northeast, and they look at that as a destination. So the more circuits that can be developed by a coordinated effort of all the states will probably benefit all the states together and the people who live there. So I hope I've answered your question in a brief manner, but there is definitely a lot of headroom for us to grow this area.
I think that's an excellent response. Having said that, I don't know how many of you have heard of the new cargo transportation over the Brahmaputra, the Ganga Brahmaputra, through Bangladesh, between Assam and Bengal, right? So that has started, and they've started carrying wheat upstream and getting back other produce. So that is coming through Bangladesh, and that has just started on the 7th. And you have large vessels which are traversing the river. So I think that's a good beginning. And soon, for all you know, we may have Indians who will sail through Bengal and head to Assam on the route. So thank you, Arindamda. That's a great response. Why don't you take over from here? And
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bhuvnesh. This one goes to Nitin. Nitin, I want to know your view or opinion on infrastructure and connectivity, which is obviously so important for travel and tourism. And one of the biggest opportunity that is visibly clear for the Northeast is from the connectivity standpoint, as regional air connectivity, so-called UDAN, and how rail and road connectivity along with UDAN can make good for travel and tourism opportunities. And do you think that the air connectivity coupled with better rail connectivity and growing road infrastructure will drive more tourism into the Northeast? I think that answer is yes, but probably you can elaborate a lot more and your view and opinion on the travel, on the infrastructure with regards to air, road, and rail.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kunar, and good evening, everyone. I absolutely agree what you are saying, Mr. Kunar. There is absolutely no denying the fact that infrastructure, which includes air, ground, port, and tourism services like hotels and cars and rental services, they play a very vital role in tourism and the tourism and travel competitiveness. Now, coming back to the infrastructure, I can easily say they are the arteries of the industry, of our industry. Coming back to the global air travel, or probably the air travel, it has changed and evolved drastically in the last decade, thanks to the major development which is happening in the technologically front. The air travel is becoming more efficient, and making distances much nearer or probably shorter than ever before. Meanwhile, the continued growth of low-cost air carriers also and their increased penetration into emerging markets has also made air travel much more accessible. Now, coming back to your question on Udan, which is your Ude Desh Ka Aham Nagrik, this is a wonderful initiative which government has taken, and providing subsidies and subsidizing to the airlines and making the tickets and everything much cheaper to the normal people. I think this initiative will definitely connect all those smaller and regional places, and tourism will definitely grow because of this initiative. But till now, if I talk about more than 400 air routes and 65 airports are under RCS, which is Regional Connectivity Scheme, which is actually an Udan scheme. And in NSAS is a lot of the subsidies which the government is passing on to the airlines. I think this is a great initiative in improving all those connectivities, improving the airports, investing a lot of money into the airport services. This is definitely going to improve the regional connectivity and the northeastern states, which are probably scattered into small times. I have seen in recent past wherein there is a lot of requirement for a niche segment, wherein people are asking for an example, a tea estate, a house, or probably a hotel kind of stuff at a tea house, but it's very difficult to reach there. So probably initiative from the government to have helipads or something of that sort, wherein we can create a hotel kind of a concept on the Aman hotels kind of, the Aman hotels, what they do is they create those sort of small hotels, which is out of the, out of the city, out of the world. And then the connectivity, the infrastructure can improve reaching out there. So that's what my take. I believe Udan is definitely one of those initiatives government has taken. And we are going definitely Northeast is probably one of those sectors which will be benefited by this initiative.
Thank you very much. As I go along, I will also be
I also want to tell him that Manipur has just been connected by railways.
Yeah, Manipur, yes, true,
Right.
Bhunesh.
Yeah.
It's again an initiative. I mean, excellent. If Manipur has been connected by railways, there are a lot of small time festivals which are happening. The only thing is to strategic targeting,
Yeah.
correct
My
market.
apologies are in the over to you.
No problem. Thank you very much for putting that in, that very critical information. I think it's a cause for celebration. As I go along, I'll also give some trivias about Northeast. I don't know how many people know that Arunachal Pradesh is where the sun can be seen for the first time in India as it rises in the day. And Assam had the largest and smallest river islands in the world. So I'm not sure how many of you know that. Over to Amit, Mishra, and Kaushik, both of you, but you can take this question one at a time. While the regional niche brands are settled and succeeding here, the big domestic and international brands have barely started skimming the surface and are marking their presence only recently. Why is that? And how do you see things change for the better, or is it a case of basic demand and supply? And along with that, probably you can also touch upon the investment potential in Northeast with huge deep pockets of investors being locals. They go invest outside for the Northeast for better and assured return. How do we reverse the trend? So maybe Amit, you could stake it, and then we could then follow it up with Kaushik's feedback.
Thank you, Mr. Kunal. Yes, we agree that regional brands like Summit Hotels, Polo Hotels, Sinclair's, they are doing pretty well in this area. But if we talk about the domestic or international brands, they have already taken their first step in the Northeast. Likewise, now we have Taj, Accor, Marriott's, Fern Hotels, and Lemon Trees. And if we talk about the coming days, very soon we are expecting the ITCs higher than all in our Northeast region, basically. Why it is happening? Due to state and central government, they like both are working for the infrastructure. Like you can say travel infrastructure, whether it is railway, airports, or road connectivity. Day by day, every month it is improving.
Yeah. Right. Thank you so much.
And second, if we talk about the investor parts, now the scenario is being changed. We are getting investors from other part of the country to Northeast. They have started putting there. funds in order to get the more hotels.
Okay. Kaushik, would you like to add?
Yeah. Actually, everybody already expressed that, yes, northeastern region of India has immense resource potential to develop tourism, especially northeastern region because of its distance from mainland India, and tough terrain has not made matters easy either. But in spite of this remoteness and other associate difficulties, the government, both the center and the state levels, has already started its policy to extend priority to all around development of the region. All these developments well for Northeast India tourism industry. Central government announced a 1200 CR package to develop infrastructure and encourage all the investors to invest in this region, and government will allow 30% subsidy to the investor, and big brand like Taj, ITC, they are already looking for a property here and to tie up with the local owners, investor in the region. So, and the next question is for investment. Actually, investment related to the future potential, guest travels, and the growth. The massive development work has been going on in the Northeast. Infrastructure has been improved a lot. Road, rail, and air connectivity has also been improved. Government will connect capitals of all the 8 states by year. 7 of the 8 states capital will connect through rails, and network roads is already operational. Time has come to invest in the Northeast, empower the Northeast, give boost to the Northeast, and bring the Northeast into the nation's development. Government ensure that industries, that all the state governments will cooperate if they come into invest in the region. They are the opportunities in sectors like tourism, information and technology, agriculture, and organic foods, which the industries can explore the Northeast. The vision making India USD 5 trillion economy and global powerhouse by 24-25 will be successfully only when the entire eastern region is developed at par with the rest of the country.
Thank you, Kaushik. You also have a very good oration skill. It looked like you are also at the same time pitching for the state government's investment plan as you spoke, which is nice. Right. I hope some investors are listening and they will be inspired by both Amit and your point of view on investments into Northeast. Time for another trivia. The centuries-old barter system can still be seen in practice at the Jonbil Mela in Assam. It's something that is pretty interesting. Now, Sanjeev, this question goes to you. Talent is not a problem and is in abundance and a sitting advantage for Northeast. Northeast is a net supplier of the richest talent to the rest of India. And once the economy jumpstarts, the least of the worry would be trained manpower. That's what I believe. What is your view? Or will
thank you,
the
Mr.
ones
Kunar.
trained and settled outside not come back?
Thank you, Mr. Kunar. I completely agree with you. This Northeast region has got a very rich talent pool, and it doesn't only supply to rest of the part of India, of course, spread over the world. So once the business will come back and development will be on the pace, the least worry will be the talent availability in this region. So we are fortunate being in this region in terms of talent. But at the same time, I will also alarm that because of the unwanted pandemic we have witnessed the talent move or attrition towards other sector also, which we need to be watchful, and definitely it is the responsibility of all of us to gain back their confidence in the industry, to bring them back in our own industry, and it is quite possible everybody is working towards it. So we have to be very focused towards their career development and educational support to them, which will bring the confidence back for them to come back here. Also, at the same time, the new generation talent has to be engaged well in the industry, which will keep the talent pool as strong as it always been in past. So that is my view here on the talent availability.
Thank you very much. Much appreciate. I now want to move on to my trivia. And the world's largest weaving village is in Assam. How many of you knew that? And I also want to tell you that the golden or the Muga silk is not produced anywhere else in the world other than Assam. So, it helps when Bhuvanesh gives such tasks to me, that not only am I in the august company of great general managers and Bhuvanesh, but I also get to learn a little bit about the Northeast and my country as well. And my next question goes to Sashank. There are 2 or 3 locations in India which have opened the gates for casino tourism within the legal framework. One, of course, is Goa, and the other is Sikkim. What are the opportunities and traction that casino tourism provides to Gangtok with eye on hospitality and the industry in general?
Thank you, Mr. Konar. The question you have asked is about the casinos. I myself, in a couple of months' time, will be opening a casino in my hotel itself. My hotel would be consisting of a casino. There's a lot of opportunity which gives to our hospitality industry, because once there is a casino, it gives a lot of opportunity, not for my hotel, but all the hotels in the Gangtok or in Sikkim, because there is a lots of group who is traveling from not only from our country, from abroad also, for the casino and the themes, because the casino business altogether has been growing very prominently. As it's very rightly said that the world is a book, and if at all a person who doesn't travel can read only a page of that book. So if at all people who is traveling, they are coming out of their comfort zone, and traveling and casino, that goes hands in hand, as because it's take you out of your comfort zone. And for the people who are coming, and basically from West Bengal, Hyderabad, and Delhi, are the main feeder market for these casinos. So that it gives ample amount of opportunity for the hospitality sector.
So anybody else wants to pitch in on this aspect of casino and how it will impact positively in the tourism business? Maybe Amit or Kaushik, one of you can take this question.
Sir, it's definitely the tourism will, the guest flow will be increased on this region. Once that, because there is the only 2 options in the country. One is Goa and another one is Sikkim. And there is a lot of package and a lot of interactive session, or they actually done the package through the airlines, and all the flow is coming up to the Sikkim, and it's actually not only that the tourist flow will increase, you can express that entire the region also, sir.
Yeah, and I also feel that it's not just Gangtok that people are going to go to. It's going to have a spillover impact into the rest of the itineraries that people could do, because they're going to Gangtok and then move over to Kalimpong and Darjeeling, and on the other side of the hills as well. So I feel that there is probably potential, and I know we operate 2 hotels in Goa, and I know the impact it has on our hotels as far as casinos are concerned, on both occupancy and average rates.
If I was to say over here, not long ago, Nepalese tourism got kick-started by the casino at the Salties there, right?
Yes.
So Indians would carry no clothes, but cash loads of, bag loads of cash, right? So what such tourism, responsible gambling tourism, organized, right, is workable, but as per the law of the land. Having said that, before you shoot your next trivia and put us in a spot, I also remember there are 2 or 3 parts of the Northeast which are known for their striking contribution, right? For instance, I learned the world's cleanest village is also there, right? And also Cherrapunji is also the wettest.
Yes.
Right? So you may want to throw more light on that. And because coming along with this is going to be my other question to you, Arindam. Mountaineering and trekking tourism. Well, they are a standalone and huge opportunity with so much potential to draw top dollar spending international mountaineers, as well as domestic enthusiasts for hospitality. Your views on how to grow this opportunity to a focused, well-oiled machine that delivers world-class service and experiences?
So it's an interesting question that you ask, and I have personally been involved with 2 states which promote mountaineering and trekking largely. One, of course, is Himachal, and the other one is Uttarakhand. And I've always wondered, why do people talk about the established trekking routes or the mountaineering establishments along these 2 states, and not so much about Northeast? Because ultimately the Himalayas, start from somewhere in Pakistan and go all the way over to Arunachal. And I think one of the reasons that it has not taken off is probably the restrictions that these states have had over the years. And you well as may know that the main trekking stroke mountaineering opportunities are actually in Arunachal Pradesh and to some extent in the Darjeeling and that belt. Having said that, the National Institute of Mountaineering and Allied Sport, short form of which is NIMAS, is located in a place called Dirang in West Kamang region of Arunachal Pradesh. And it was established in 2013 by the government of India. And it is known to be the first national institute authorized to conduct land, aero, and aqua courses, allowing citizens to learn the skills of adventure sports. Now, obviously, this institute is run by the Ministry of Defense, incidentally. So I feel that this institute can play a very, very, stellar role in promoting both mountaineering and trekking as part of their portfolio, along with a lot of other adventure sports. There is also the Assam Mountaineering Association, which is known for its name and fame. And one of the ways that it can, this whole belt can grow from a trekking and mountaineering perspective is to do tie-ups with all the mountaineering associations around the country. And I know of a mountaineering association in Bangalore. There is a very strong mountaineering association in Calcutta or Kolkata as it's known now, and so on and so forth. So I think there is, and also there is a huge opportunity for cross-pollination of treks and mountaineering between the Uttarakhand, Himachal belt and the Northeast belt. Ultimately, there are agencies, agents who are conducting these treks and mountaineering in one side of the Himalayas, and it is easily possible to do the other. Having said that, I think trekking is probably where there is a huge amount of potential in the Northeast, considering that most of the states are hilly. Remoteness and political instability probably has played a role in not having it developed from serious trekking infrastructure, but now things are changing. So if you look at some of the established treks, like the Seven Lakes Trek in Arunachal, the Bailey Trail Trek in Arunachal, the Mechuka Lake Trek in Arunachal, I mean, some of the best treks in the world are in Arunachal, followed by some in Nagaland, like the Zoku Valley or the Japfu Peak. So there is all these opportunities there. Eventually, somebody will need to get together, do some packaging, take it across the world. The Government of India tourism officers can probably play a very important role in getting international tourists trekkers and serious mountaineers to this part. But eventually, if we are getting it in one part of the country, there is no reason we can't get it on the other side. So that's what I would probably, sort of argue, that there is opportunity. It's only waiting to be exploited.
That's well said. But my worry is that most such groups which travel for trekking and mountaineering, they usually travel together in groups, and they may not stay at branded hotels per se, So they may stay in lodges, they may go elsewhere. Yes, they create travel and tourism opportunities, but how do we create an opportunity for our industry, for the hospitality industry, for the branded hotels?
Bhuvanesh, I don't think we should be so focused, to be honest with you, on the branded hotels, because I believe that, boutique, unbranded hotels also play an important part and role in this space. And if you look at international, trekking and mountaineering, whether it's the Alps or whether it's the Andes, if you look at even India, within India, there are some really great opportunities of, base camps where you have some really wonderful, tented accommodations. If you go to Ladakh, for example, Ladakh has got tented accommodation which is selling at 30,000 rupees a night, sometimes even more. So those opportunities are existing, and I think it's about integrating the local community, the investor, and creating these unique value options for guests who are going to traverse this journey, either of trekking or of mountaineering. I would say mountaineering is probably a little more tougher from a hotel perspective, but trekking, definitely along the route, there could opportunities be on established 12-month establishments versus also seasonal establishments which could be created along the way. A classic example is during the Char Dham, you find all these luxury tents coming up across all the Char Dham journey. So why is it not possible for something similar to come up in the trek routes in Northeast during the summer? So there are opportunities there. And again, I go back to sustainable development. I go back to local community involvement. I guess all they're missing is people who are coming there with money to invest and to bet on the growth. But they need to see that potential for the return on investment, which is probably where we are failing in terms of promoting it. So on the one side is the infrastructure to handle it once the guests come. On the other side, it's about making sure that once I put up the infrastructure, my money will not go waste, and generating those promotional materials, that marketing messaging, that communication that goes to domestic and international travelers, that here is another opportunity, here is another option for you to come and do trekking and mountaineering.
I think that's a very important response, very valuable. I mean, this will stay over here for all those who want to, hear what this opportunity has to offer to our industry. Yes, you're right. I also remember, because in my days, I was part of these groups, but yes, then those facilities that exist now weren't the same. But I shall now let you take over and get back to your next question.
Yeah, thank you so much. And my next question goes to Nitin Pathak. There's a case for creating travel and tourism opportunities via different circuits. For example, wildlife circuit. We talked about trekking circuits. Let us not bother about the revenue. They will come automatically. Let us first create unique and world-class opportunities which are sitting and waiting to be tapped. The Northeast obviously has an abundance that is waiting for a package to happen. 7 of the 10 best wildlife sanctuaries are located there. How do we make most of this huge opportunity? What's your view, Nitin?
Mr. Kunar, there is definitely a great opportunity along creating a tourism kind of a circuit. We have seen a lot of circuits, a lot of tourism circuits which have been built around. For an example, if I say Golden Triangle, which is not a national but an international famous circuit, tourism circuit, which includes Agra, Jaipur, and Delhi. Desert circuits have been created, backwater circuits have been created. When I talk about wildlife circuits, I think only Pench, Bandhavgarh, and Kanha. These are the only areas which includes, those wildlife circuits. While you talk about Northeast, I mean, it's amazing to see wherein 10 out of 7, wildlife sanctuaries across the East are there in Assam. And we do not have a proper, if I can say that, a proper wide circuit, a tourism circuit wherein we can have all the wildlife sanctuaries included, a tour of probably 3 to 7 days, or probably more than that, which can cover Povitara, which is absolutely near to Guwahati, hardly 40 kilometers away from Guwahati. And then there are bird sanctuaries also. Now, to make most out of this opportunity, what I suggest, government, the idea of having a joint tourism board of these 7 sisters might be of great help, wherein they can help in developing the infrastructure, they can help in announcing a couple of more bird sanctuaries, and then taking the local community also towards this goal and creating, a tourism circuit wherein we can market it strategically to the target market, and then, providing all those facilities which generally a circuit requires. And I am 100% sure with the potential. I mean, I can always, I've been always optimistic in saying that Northeast definitely has that kind of a potential wherein we can target the international clientele as well. One-horned rhinoceros at Kaziranga. So there is a lot of opportunities. If I want to talk about bird sanctuary also, I mean, after very stable socio-political conditions in Assam and nearby states, I believe that is one of those areas in creating a tourism circuit which is built around these wildlife sanctuaries will definitely going to help in future.
Thank you very much. That makes a lot of sense.
Thank you.
Bhuvanesh, you wanted to say something?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Back to my trivias. I in fact was quite surprised to discover that the world's only mothers run market is in Manipur. And the safe haven for the one-horned rhinos is in Assam. So that's those are 2 quite interesting trivias that I discovered. And having discovered them, my next question is to Sanjeev. Loads of countries only survive on travel and tourism. Thailand being one, Sri Lanka being one. There are some island nations like Maldives and Mauritius. So Northeast has more than that, with opportunities for hospitality, travel, and tourism. So what do you think are the opportunities for tea or ecotourism or circuits like that?
There is an immense opportunity in this region of Northeast. In India, we have 3 regions which produce tea. Out of 3, 2 regions falls in Northeast. So Darjeeling and Assam are the 2 regions. The tea is known at the world's level for the one of the finest tea. But as with the evolving culture now, it is not only restricted towards the savior the tea of these regions. It has got into a tea tourism and ecotourism as well. If we will talk about the tea tourism in this particular area, it has evolved in last couple of years and doing well. People are liking and they are preferring to come for tea tourism in this area. Still, we have a lot of scope to enhance it better day by day by adding up different culture into it. Like we can add up tea safaris, the local tea customs can be added into it. We can add the local tea tribals festivals and cultures into the package itself, which will make it more interesting for the people to take it further. If we'll talk about ecotourism, Sikkim is the only state which has been announced as a 100% organic state. And in Sikkim, the fertilizers and pesticides are banned for sale and uses. So there are about 66,000 families which have been part of it, and they are being benefited out of it. So entire Sikkim is organic food producer today, and it is not being highlighted and bundled in the package of the tourism today. So in my opinion, through the public-private partnership, the tea and ecotourism should be included in the mainstream tour packages, and it could be focused more to come as a mainstream as good as any other food packages are being offered across. So it has a huge potential in this part, and it should be appreciated well in case we are able to focus and market it well.
Thank you, Sanjeev. And over to some more trivia. I'm not sure how many of you know, but there is a ghost of a soldier who guards the border for us in Sikkim. And Tripura is the home to the only floating palace in Northeast. And I would leave it to other people to know what the name of that palace is. If anybody knows here, you can talk. Okay. I will let the viewers discover that while we go on to the next question for
Why don't you say the name?
It's a place called Neer Mahal.
Oh.
And you know, it's just unbelievable because there is a land port that was opened recently in Tripura, which is connecting the river of Tripura into Bangladesh, from where, you know, the government of India is connecting cargo that will come to Haldia, and they are building a separate connectivity from India to the Northeast rather than depending on the chicken neck. So the place where the land dry port is actually very close to this Neer Mahal. So over to Sashank. Sashank.
Arindam, can I introduce the next show over here with your permission? All right, Salman, are you there? Can you bring in the slide? All right. This is our show coming Tuesday. This is our 16th episode, which I spoke about when I introduced the show. This is going to be in the north. It's about leisure, blending business and leisure. A big opportunity beckons us, right? So this is a great new show which is coming. We shall have Ramandeep Marva of the JW Marriott. We shall have Utsa Majumdar, Hyatt Regency Dharamshala, Jitendra Pal Singh from the Radisson Amritsar. He's also the cluster general manager for the North and the general manager for the Radisson there. Anup Pandey from the JW Marriott in Mussoorie. Chandrasekhar Joshi, as we call him, CJ, from the Leela Palace in Jaipur. And Shuvendu Banerjee from the Crown Plaza today, New Delhi, which is in Okla. So be there Tuesday this time. And then, of course, Thursday is there for our 16th episode. Back to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. So as I said, the next question is for Sashank. I'm not sure if you are a spiritual person yourself, but it seems to me that there is a goodness opportunity, that there is much, not just the Kamakhya and Guwahati, steeped in culture and history. There is a potential to create circuits in the Northeast, to create a pull given its rich diversity, landscape, and plethora of offerings, including the Buddhist circuit. So opportunities for travel and tourism are immense if one has to go by what is on the table to grab. Let us begin with your suggestion to do our best with spiritual tourism. How would you do it?
Sir, spiritual tourism in Northeast, people has been, people has been using it, but it has been, what I say, it's neglected. Because people, they come here for the scenic beauty and everything, but the spirituality, what in Northern India and Southern India people go for, is not yet they have came across. So if you rightly said, it's not only about the Kamakhya, but many other temples, even there are few temples which are almost 5,000 years back. And it's in, many of them are in Assam and Arunachal Pradesh and Meghalaya, and a few of them are in Sikkim as well. So it's not only the Hinduism, but also the Buddhist and different religion. If people go for the spirituality, they find it for all the religions. And as it is that a spirituality is nothing to concern with any particular religion. It's for the spirituality, it can be of any religion, they can travel along. So, like if you see the data back for the Kumbh and different festival which are going on, which goes on in different parts of the country in northern India. So, such type of festivals can be arranged that can enormously benefit our tourism and the hospitality sector.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. As I said, are you a spiritual person yourself, Shashank?
A bit of that.
A bit of that. Great. Also, I'm not sure how many of you know, the population of all of northeastern states is close to the population of Odisha. And almost 70% of Northeast India's terrain are covered by the hills. So essentially, there is a huge amount of landmass, beautiful forests and hills, and very little population, which means it's still got that virginity that people are looking forward, especially after COVID period, to go and explore an area where they can be at peace with themselves. Which brings me to my next question for Amit Mishra. And the question is on education and medicine. No longer will there be a case for our folks to go to other parts of India to study today. There is a reverse flow where Northeast is sought after destination for specialty education. For example, IIT, IIMs, AIMS, they've all anchored there to offer the very best. Now, obviously, from a government's perspective, it is to invest in the place for the locals. But is there a plan in place? What's your view? And how do we make the most of it?
Yes, sir. Apart from the hospitality sector, these two sectors, that medicine and that education, it is going parallelly. If you'll see even in coming days, shortly we'll have the IIT in the Sikkim, in the Gangtok. And apart from that, if you'll see the medicine sector, that pharma companies, they are also growing like anything. Reason behind that policies are very, it is policies that it has been made by the government. It is very favorable, whether it is a taxation or it is a tenure period. So that impact will be that overall economy will boost up.
Okay. And Kaushik,
Yes, sir.
what would you say is the ideal destination for experiential travel, which is seeing a boom over the last 2 years? And how do you see the potential of this segment? How do you plan to realize the maximum potential from this segment?
During this discussion, you also said several times the places, many places actually, those even we also don't know. So even Northeast India is famous for many things like the only floating national park in the world, the rainiest place in the world, the cleanliest village in Asia, the largest women's only market in Asia. So the first organic state in the world. So these are all actually, even many of us also don't know. So even Northeast India also home to many wildlife sanctuaries like Kaziranga National Park, famous for the one-horned rhinos, Manas National Park, then Kanchenjunga in Sikkim, then Namdappa in Arunachal Pradesh. So these are all many places like which the rest of the countries travelers need to travel and explore. So overall, it's like that. It's need to better management to guide, facilitate, and coordinate the process so that tourism venture can sustain in local socio and economic situation and contribute meaningfully the areas concerned, which will help the emerge and organized tourism sector in the region, capable of giving the fruit of tourism to the tourist as well as the locals.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And I'm not sure about this, but I have heard that Nagaland has what may be described as the last surviving headhunter tribe. I'm sure they don't headhunt heads anymore, but it's quite intriguing to hear that Nagaland had a headhunter tribe. And the other thing that is quite intriguing is also that Apparently, Nagaland holds the record of the world's largest electric guitar ensemble. So obviously, this is a place to go for people who love music.
So is there a case for the hospitality industry to go over to the headhunter for their talent?
This is a different kind of headhunting from what I believe, Bhuvnesh. Yeah, but there's always a business case for new ideas.
Yeah. So let me shoot this one last one at you. We've obviously spoken about music a few times, and if there is Northeast, there is Sachinda Burman, Rahul Dev Burman, there's Papon, there's Bhupen Hazarika, there's the Shillong Orchestra. So there's so much of music sitting over there, right? Tell me, is there a case for a music tour which is fixed to the annual Northeastern calendar, which can create fixed time opportunities, that this starts on a circuit now, right? The Northeast is obviously naturally gifted with its rather generous contribution to the field of music, be it local Hindi, Western, or classical choirs, and they're world famous and have their own legion of followers. Can we, like I said, create a fixed circuit where people can flock to the Northeast, plan their trips, book the holidays in hotels, and also give us an opportunity to create some much wanted revenue? What are your views, Arindam?
So, I am a music lover, and I visit every year the Mahindra Blues Festival in Mumbai. And, when you ask me this question, my mind wavers to what is the reason of the success for the Blues Festival in Mumbai every year. As far as Northeast is concerned, I think I'll break it down into three parts, Bhuvnesh. I think first is that the government, there has to be money behind the development of a music festival or any cultural festival for that matter. And, people will invest money from an advertising bang for the buck, where they see that their brand is visible. They get a return on the investment in terms of eyeballs, in terms of footfalls, and so on and so forth. So one of the key elements of creating a long-running cultural music festival is to ensure that you have people backing it up. And quite frankly, today, if you look at some of the big brands, they are very, very keen to back such kind of events. Case in point again is the Mahindra Blues Festival, which is sponsored by Mahindra. The other part is, I think, we need to decide that there are three areas where Northeast could focus. One is what would be called as the traditional stroke Indian kind of music. There are people who are, as you mentioned, very famous ragas and Indian classical, and quite honestly, there's a lot of indigenous music from Northeast which are making sound waves, if you like calling it, which could be a niche product that could be developed. On the other side is, of course, the Western music, rock music. Shillong is known as the rock theater of India. So there is that element which is probably ingrained in the genetics of Northeastern people from a music perspective. And the third element is what I would call as cultural festival, which is all encompassing from a perspective of not just music, but bring the whole culture alive. It's not that it's not been tried. I think the Hornbill Festival in Nagaland is quite well known. The Zero Music Festival in Arunachal Pradesh is also quite a well-known event. NH7 Weekender in Meghalaya, I think, did very well for a while. The Shillong Autumn Festival in Meghalaya, again, the Brahmaputra Beach Festival, the Goodstock Assam Festival, which is probably sort of, it reminds you of the Woodstock Festival, so to speak. But it's not that it's not happened. Two areas that we need to focus on. One is, to get enough eyeballs, enough investment, you need enough footfalls. And to have enough footfalls, you need the infrastructure around the location of the event, which means you need enough hotels, you need enough food and beverage, you need enough transportation, you need enough seats on aircrafts to fly in and out. And so if you have 2 or 3 flights a day, that's, at an average of 168 seats in an aircraft is the number of people you can fly in and out. So that's one challenge we need to sort of figure out. And the way to handle that challenge is to do a circuitry where people can do pre and post this event, so that everybody doesn't need to arrive and get out on the same day, but do pre and post and expand that length of stay, and therefore invest more in the destination rather than only for the music festival. I think the other is to do what I call as combined music festivals. If I love rock music, I don't want to go and just go all the way to Northeast and do one rock festival and come back. So if the organizers could do back-to-backs, then probably it's a 1 week trip for me where I'm actually discovering 2 or 3 destinations and discovering 2 or 3 different kinds of music. So that's probably what I would sort of, at a helicopter view, break it down into Indian stroke traditional music, Western music, and cultural music as themes, and then also make it easier for people to expand their length of stay and their experiences, so that the music festival is important, but there is pre and post which make it worthwhile for me to travel.
So very well said. Thank you for such an excellent response. The Northeast, like I said, has been one of the biggest exporters of talent, right? Talent be in the local people who are over there or the artists. We haven't spoken about the tribes as yet. We've read about the Khasi tribes in our education, right? And the Northeast has more than a handful. They are in abundance over there. So there is a case to bring in the children, be impressionable over there. So this is a great opportunity for the Northeast. I'm sure we'll come back. We'll lean on you, Arindam, again. Let us do a special on the Northeast soon. Come back over there. And hopefully there'll be more general managers next time. And we'll be able to present a better case. And also, we must also remember, our current Minister of Tourism is also the Minister for the Northeast, right? So there is the current regime, the current government is actually thinking of the Northeast. Now let us see them peg their investments over there to take it to the next level. I think, do you have any more trivias to shoot before we close?
No, I just want to thank Chandrima, who's responded correctly.
Yes, she did.
The question. So
she did.
At least one person was listening to my trivias, which makes my day.
She did. She did. She has. I was reading, but by then I'd already asked you about Nirmal. But brilliant, So we have, how thick is the chicken neck, Arindam? 21 kilometers?
I am very tempted to give you an answer, knowing most people wouldn't know, but I would be caught lying live on camera. So I don't know.
I think it's 21 kilometers. So that is the kind of corridor that we have, which links the Northeast to the rest of India. Of course, air connectivity is there, but then not very easy, but doable. Thank you, gentlemen. I think let us all put our hands together for Arindam for some brilliant moderation.
For everybody. For everybody.
No, पहले आपके लिए फिर बाकियों के लिए, तब मैं और आप बजाएंगे. Right? So great moderation, 10 on 10. You've actually made the session very lively.
Thank you.
Thank you for being there, Arindam, and thank you for your time. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure hosting you, right? Sanjeev, Nitin, Kaushik, Shashank, Amit. We shall miss Vikas because Vikas could not join today because Vikas is the area manager for the Northeast for Radisson. The finance minister has landed there today. So he's had to be with her. So we shall miss him, but maybe next time we are coming back soon. Thank you for being there. Keep looking out for what we do at BW Hotelier and wish us luck. I'm coming back and stay for the next show. Salman, can you bring back the slide? I think Salman's gone to sleep or he's driving on the pavements. So we'll let that be. Thank you all. Thank you for being there.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
And thank you to all the panelists. See you soon. God
Nitin,
bless.
Amit, Shashank,
Thank you, Mr.
Kaushik,
Kunal.
and
Thank you, Bhuvnesh. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you,
Pleasure.
sir.
Thank you.